Stage 4 cancer, 3 months to live. Give she beat it. Imagine being told you have stage 4 cancer and only 3 months left to live. It's a diagnosis that would shatter anyone's world. For Jane McClelland, this wasn't just a hypothetical nightmare, it was her reality, not once, but twice. First, she was diagnosed with cervical cancer. She fought it and won. Then, years later, the unthinkable happened. A new, aggressive cancer, myeloid leukemia, was found in her blood. Doctors gave her the devastating news stage 4, and a life expectancy of just a few months. But Jane is not just anyone. She's a fighter, a trained physiotherapist with a deep understanding of the human body. Faced with this grim prognosis, she didn't surrender to despair. Instead, she channeled her fear into an unstoppable drive for knowledge. She thought, if conventional medicine has its limits, what else is out there? What can I do to give myself a fighting chance? This question sparked an incredible journey. Jane dove headfirst into the world of medical research. She spent countless hours in libraries, poring over scientific papers, and studying the complex biology of cancer cells. She learned that cancer cells are fundamentally different from healthy cells. They have a unique metabolism, a sort of Achilles heel. They are greedy, devouring glucose and certain amino acids to fuel their rapid growth. This discovery was her light bulb moment. What if she could starve the cancer? What if she could cut off its fuel supply? Mainstream oncology was focused on chemotherapy and radiation, powerful tools, no doubt, but with significant side effects. Jane wondered if there was a way to weaken the cancer cells first, making them more vulnerable to treatment. She began to formulate a plan, a multi-pronged approach that would become her lifeline. It wasn't about choosing one single miracle cure, but about creating a hostile environment for the cancer in her body. She devised a special diet, extremely low in sugar and specific amino acids that her type of cancer craved. This wasn't a trendy diet. It was a calculated metabolic strategy designed to starve the cancer cells of their primary fuel. But she didn't stop there. Jane researched off-label drugs, medications approved for other conditions, like diabetes or high cholesterol, that had shown surprising anti-cancer effects in laboratory studies. Drugs like metformin, statins, and even a common dewormer. These weren't random guesses. Each one was chosen for its specific ability to disrupt a particular pathway that cancer cells use to grow, multiply, and resist treatment. She put together a cocktail of these repurposed drugs and powerful natural supplements, each one targeting a different aspect of cancer metabolism. Think of it like a coordinated attack. While chemotherapy was the heavy artillery, her metabolic approach was like cutting off the enemy's supply lines, weakening them from the inside out. Of course, this was an unconventional path. She had to become her own health advocate, her own case manager. She presented her research to her doctors, working with them to integrate her approach alongside the standard chemotherapy. Not every doctor was on board initially, but she found an oncologist willing to listen, to see the logic in her carefully researched plan. The process was grueling, the diet was incredibly strict. The combination of treatments was intense. There were days she felt exhausted, days filled with uncertainty. But she was also seeing changes. Her blood markers started to improve. She felt a flicker of energy returning. The 3-month deadline came and went. Then 6 months. A year passed. Jane was not just surviving, she was starting to thrive. The cancer was in retreat. The combination of her metabolic strategy and conventional treatment was working in a way that defied all expectations. Scans that once showed a body riddled with cancer began to come back clearer and clearer. Eventually, she achieved what her doctors had deemed impossible: complete remission. No detectable cancer. She has stared death in the face and won. Her journey is a powerful testament to the idea that we can and should be active participants in our own healing. Jane's story isn't an argument against conventional medicine. It's a story about enhancing it. It's about using every tool available in the fight for your life. After her miraculous recovery, Jane didn't just go back to her old life. She knew she had to share what she had learned. She wrote a book, How to Starve Cancer, detailing her research, her protocol, and her incredible journey. It's not a prescription, but a roadmap, a guide filled with scientific references to empower other patients to ask informed questions and explore all their options. Her work has since created a global movement. She founded a charity and a Facebook group where tens of thousands of patients and caregivers share information, support each other, and discuss the latest research on metabolic therapies. She's become a beacon of hope for people who have been told there is no hope left. The key takeaway from Jane's story is the power of proactive research and self-advocacy. It's about looking at cancer not just as something to be poisoned with chemotherapy, but as a metabolic disease with weaknesses that can be exploited. Her approach combines the best of both worlds, cutting-edge conventional treatments and a targeted, science-backed metabolic strategy. Her story teaches us that a diagnosis is not always a destiny. It highlights the importance of an integrative approach, where diet, supplements, and repurposed drugs can work synergistically with standard care to create a more powerful outcome. It's about asking why and how, and never giving up the search for answers. Jane McClellan's survival against all odds has redefined what's possible in the fight against cancer. It shows that with courage, deep research, and a refusal to accept a death sentence, miracles can and do happen. She didn't just save her own life. She has ignited a revolution in patient empowerment that is now helping to save countless others. Her legacy is one of hope, resilience, and the incredible power of the human spirit. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that can change lives. We'll see you in the next video.